Home is where connections are made, memories are formed, and ideas are born. And no one knows home better than NFM. Thanks for tuning in to I Am Home, the podcast that goes deeper than trends and dives into what it means to make your house a home.
Welcome to I Am Home, the Home Life Best Life podcast. I'm Tyler Weiskup, joined by my co-host who proves function and fashion can be friends. It's Becca Sudbeck.
Hi, Tyler.
Hi, Becca. And our other co-host, she's the pop of color in our otherwise stainless steel podcast. It's Hilary Waltemath.
Hey, Tyler.
Hi, Hilary. And today we're joined by someone who literally is shaping how your kitchen feels. This is Brittni Pertijs, who leads the color, material, and finish team at KitchenAid. Welcome, Brittni.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. You are going to be talking to us about this really awesome redesign, shaking up the appliance aisle. We're going to dive into the story behind the redesign. And if you love, design and durability, or just want your kitchen to finally feel like you're in the right place. But first, let me tell you why we're even doing this podcast. And that's because NFM is more than just your everything home store. We're in the business of improving lifestyles because your home life should be your best life. You can learn more at nfm.com. So Brittni, I wonder if we can set the stage a little bit and talk about, I know it's been probably, I think I was looking at some of the research you were sending over like a decade since KitchenAid's last full line refresh. So I'm curious, what has inspired the redesign now, and what story were you trying to tell by taking this opportunity 10 years now into this to look at KitchenAid and what you've been doing?
Yeah. So, with our brands, we always look at, trends are changing. And so what my team does is we look at what's happening in the home, what are the trends that are shifting in the home, what has longevity, right? Because there's also fads that come in and out really fast, and we don't want to attach ourselves to anything like that. But we look at kind of predicting and trying to forecast the next 10 to 15 years out shifts in the home. And so when we start to look at something we launched 10 years ago, we start to see that although we still love that product, there are things we would like to evolve with it. And so that was what we started to do with this new launch with KitchenAid. And one of the big trends we saw was moving from decoration and kind of just offering to you something really highly decorated and saying, this is it, into something that's more integrated and saying, this is a canvas for you to make it what you want it to be. So it has a lot more flexibility where we're not trying to prescribe exactly how you have to use it. You have kind of your creative freedom.
Which I think is it's super relevant. And we've definitely seen that in, across appliances and home interiors generally, is having more of that customization, more of that ability to kind of express your personality. So love that we're able to kind of tackle that.
Yeah, and that makes it so nice too, that it's not like cookie cutter. If you customize it, you're not maybe going to go to your neighbor's house or your friend's house and see the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember when the buying team came back from market, and I'm part of the kind of trend forecasting team here. And they were talking about how much of a highlight seeing KitchenAid at market was. And they were so excited. They're like, KitchenAid is working with real designers to get real feedback from just taking you closer to the consumer and what they were after. And I just thought that was so refreshing to hear about. And you could just hear it in the excitement of the buying team's voices when they returned from market and were showing off all the photos of the beautiful displays. And we all just collectively fist pumped a little bit.
Yeah. And what was great about this? So as we're going through our design process, we have a lot of ideas and so many things we want to do as designers. We can't do it all, but what we did is we met with interior designers and talked to them about, what are you seeing in the home? What do you wish you could spec for your clients and appliances that you can't get today? And we kind of gathered all that feedback, and we hadn't shown them anything we were designing or ideas we had. And then we kind of revealed here's what we're thinking with colors and the way the product is coming to life. And everything they had been telling us was confirming what we were doing. So it was a really great moment to align and be yes, we're on the same path, and we're offering something that people really are desiring to have that they can't find.
Oh, that's interesting. Can you talk a little bit more about like what that process was like when you were meeting with the interior designers and doing your own research and trying to pull together those concepts? Was there like a moment where all that kind of stuff started to click and you saw the full story, or was it a gradual thing? Kind of curious.
Yeah, so even before we met with other interior designers, we do our own trend research, and there were some key trends we were trying to tap into. One being warm minimalism, because people just want to feel comfort in the home and they want to feel safe and have things kind of like streamlined, but have like a lot of textures and softness. And then the other one was bringing the outside in. And this could be a little more through color and a little more self-expression and greenery. And so we were trying to balance these two sides, which is where we came up with Juniper, which is on the a green color, and then our Black Ore, which is a warm color. So we kind of were started to navigate these spaces. And then when we talked with interior designers, they kept saying like, I would love a green product. Like green is such a staple in the home. It's like neutral. And they really kept like being like, and green knobs and brown knobs. I want to be able to change things. And we're like, yes, like that's what we want too.
Yeah.
So
should we queue up some of these images you provided for us? Actually, I think it'd be a good time, Scott, if we can pull up, especially Juniper. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so pretty.
It is.
Yeah. So in the image is our Juniper green color, and it's actually a metallic green. So what's great is when it's in your home and with your kind of cabinet color and the lighting in your home, it can kind of shift because of that metallic flake and the way the light kind of brings it to life. And when you purchase it, it comes with these Juniper green handles. They're like a brushed metal tinted green. So it kind of has this like really integrated blank canvas feel, but then you can customize and personalize those handles and knobs and change them for other colors.
And I love, I think people are sometimes like intimidated by color, overwhelmed by color. Like they hear green and they probably think like primary green, but what that Juniper color is so interesting because I can see it in different lighting or next to different like millwork, like kind of picking up on different cues from around it. And it just like, it's interesting. They take up so much space in your kitchen, like visual real estate. Like, why wouldn't you want something like interesting and cool? Like sometimes, I don't know, like we draw attention to them the wrong way,
Yeah.
So I think this is so fresh and fun, and like what an interesting color Juniper is too.
Yeah. And as we were designing it, so we work with like a painter. We have like an in-house painter that we say, this is the color space. We kind of give him color targets of what we're thinking, but we create these colors from scratch. And so we have to try different things to see what works. So it might be a lighter green, a dark green, something more saturated. And we kind of paint them up on big panels to start to see like, okay, as this gets really large, if this is a refrigerator, does it feel like too much?
Yeah.
How we landed.
So smart.
It's a dark green, but it has some blue and yellow undertones. So that's where it can shift kind of between things.
Right. That's so interesting. Do you have like an estimate on how many green color swatches you went through?
You would be surprised. It's so many. Like, and we have a room with color, with lighting that we can control the color.
Oh, sure.
So
Nice.
we'll flip on the light of home lighting and store lighting because we don't want you to purchase this like
True.
Yes.
you bring it home and you're like, that's
not what it looked like.
So we check that it doesn't flip too much. But yeah, we go through a lot of iterations.
Yeah. Was there like was this Juniper color the one that you like honed in on, or was there like another kind of leading contender before you kind of selected that final color combination?
We had more, some that were a little more colorful, or even if you look at the Black Ore, which is just our metallic black, it was like, it has a little warmth to it. And so
definitely.
Is it bronze? Is it brown? Is it black? And so we wanted to see how far we could push it. And ultimately it's a black, but it just has that warmth. So when it's next to wood or anything else, it just naturally integrates into your home instead of being some kind of like cold, black, glossy box that doesn't go with anything else we have in our homes, really. Like you want to think of these as furniture, maybe how you would like picking out the color of your couch. Like we want you to think of that way of of these.
Well, I love how it's going back to that core idea of, like you're saying, of like warm minimalism, and how just obviously you're seeing that through line in two very different colors, but it brings that theme together. Was there obviously KitchenAid has this like recognizable heritage? Was it tough kind of like figuring out how to balance that KitchenAid DNA while pushing into more of this modern expression?
Yeah, it's always the balance, because the stand mixer is our iconic piece, right? And we didn't choose it to be iconic. It's like the world said this is iconic. Love it. And so it's such a balancing act of how do you take the love and kind of carry that through the rest of the products in the brand. But one thing that, as I've dug into the history of KitchenAid, is KitchenAid has always done color. Like even in 1949, they had a dishwasher. And then the stand mixer introduced color in 1955. So it's kind of like, how do you carry on that legacy of, let's not forget about color on our major appliances and what we used to do. And we love stainless, and stainless is a staple, but there's so much more opportunity to do more if you want to.
Yeah, which I think is, again, the goal and what we're seeing in the trends and what customers are looking for and demanding. So I'm glad that we're seeing some of these options for folks. Your team calls, I think I saw this from one of the docs that you pulled together, like the KitchenAid customer a creative curator. Like, what does that mean to you when you're selecting like colors and materials and textures?
It's kind of what I mentioned before of, like, when you get this home, you have your own space and your own style, and you're creative in a different way than someone else is. And we don't want to say like it's only for people who are chefs and are doing high-end, baking. Like, this is very much like any, product for anyone, but the performance you need. So it's just about the flexibility and making it feel like yours when you get it home, and not like, oh, someone decided for me what they want this to be and it doesn't fit who I am.
I think that's super smart. So I can put my pizza bagels in there, and Hilary, you can do like what, Doug confit?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, we're on the opposite ends of the spectrum there. Can you share like a moment where, like, I'm sure you guys do like testing, real world testing, and you talked about like having kind of those rooms. Was there anything in like fingerprints or scratch tests or like anything that like throughout that testing process where you saw a big opportunity, something that helped shape the direction that you and the team decided to head?
Yeah, that is really important to our team. So although we want the products to look beautiful and have like the most beautiful aesthetic, we need them to perform for you and be functional. So we don't want anything that feels too fragile that it's got to scratch or rub off. So the great thing about kind of doing, these are painted finishes, Juniper and Black Ore, is that it's a really durable, like powder coating paint that is less vulnerable than, say, something like a black stainless, that something can come off. But we also have anti-fingerprint coating on our stainless steel, which I love because you get fingerprints and smudges all over these things and it keeps it looking clean. So we have a whole team that does testing and make sure like we've got the look we want and the performance we need for KitchenAid.
Yeah. Excellent. On the flip side, was there like a finish or detail that you fought to keep that the team was like, I'm not so sure that we're going to be able to do that?
I think there's a couple. One is on Juniper. To get those tinted Juniper handles is not easy. As standard, like when you have a faucet that's brass or gold or bronze, like those are kind of standard in the industry.
Right.
But nobody's really doing like a tinted green. So that took a lot to make it feel sophisticated and right, and that you could produce it over time and not be like, there's like a green handle. It feels very subtle and sophisticated, I would say. But then on the other side, another detail is about the texture on the handle. So we worked really hard. It's like now a linear texture where we used to have kind of like this diamond knurl that felt a little more like industrial.
Like barbells.
Yeah. So, but to get no one is doing this texture in the industry. We had to create a machine to make it. And then we had to work really hard that the feel, when you grab that handle, you don't want it to be rough and you don't want it to be too deep that food gets stuck in it. So it was like getting the right balance of the feel and the functionality. And so that was one that like we could have given up on because it wasn't easy, but we really pushed to get that texture because it was important to the brand.
That's so interesting. I'm sure that was a tough conversation to continue to have, and I'm so glad that it worked out in your favor.
Yeah. No, we love it, and I think it really it helps because the products are, because they're a little more simple or kind of like streamlined now. You need those textures and elements to come through that it doesn't fall flat. So that was really important.
I think a lot of people, we've already kind of talked about Black Ore. I think it's been getting a lot of attention. Like you said, it's a little bit warmer. Was there a specific story that you were trying to tell when you settled on that warmer color for Black Ore, or how did that kind of specific color? I mean, you talked about how you were doing it with Juniper and putting the same amount of greens up on the wall. Are you doing the same for Black Ore, or how did that come together?
It's the same. And that was where we were really like, how brown or bronze does this go, or how cool toned? And we have a lot of like, we call it our kind of library, but it's a library of materials where we've got woods and countertops and tiles and all the things that people are kind of using in the home right now. And we put those with the colors we're developing to see how they feel with them and like how flexible it is with all different colors and materials. So we did a lot of that work to get that color right.
Yeah, and it definitely shows. I think it looks fantastic. We've been talking about the trends a little bit, and we're definitely seeing customers using appliances as design statements. Have you heard much from the customer reaction, and what have you heard, and what has excited you when it comes to how customers have been responding? It's starting to trickle in kind of what I'm hearing, but I know that it's being really well received. I think people they're not expecting it. They're kind of in like, whoa, really? This is KitchenAid, and you guys are doing this, and everyone's excited. From what I've heard, it's very positive. And, you mentioned like creating a statement piece in the home, but some things that are still launching and coming out shortly would be our commercial range, which comes with 4 colors beyond Juniper and Black Ore, and they match to the stand mixer, which I think is going to be another added element.
Yeah.
And we have an image of the commercial ranges with the mixers.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you want the rest of your appliances to blend in or just kind of do what they need to do, you can have this statement of like a purple range that is really exciting.
Oh yeah, that would be so fun, especially like in a commercial kitchen. I feel like that just gives it so much character.
Yeah.
So,
I think about, I don't know if anybody follows like Ballerina Farms on like social media accounts, but she has this a very expensive like commercial stove that's in this like deep green color, and her kitchen's like very primitive, but this like stove is like the like hero piece. And so like I see this KitchenAid Pro line and like, okay, that's made more for me. I'm not like running a homestead and need that setup, but as somebody that like appreciates like thoughtful, like intentional design, but it's something that's like more appropriate for my lifestyle, is like, a basic everyday home cook, is just, that gets me really excited about appliances when normally I would not be so excited about having to purchase an appliance.
I know.
Yeah. And that image that we had pulled up, so there were several different colors that we haven't even talked about yet, just vocally on the pod. So there's like a pinkish, there's an orange, there's a greenish, tealish. Scott, if you can pull that up again, I'd love for Brittni to kind of walk through some of those different tones and colors and things for folks, so they can kind of get an idea for that if you're just listening in.
Yeah. So our Pro Style range, it'll come in the stainless, the Juniper, and the Black Ore, but then we have this extended palette that links back to the stand mixer. And so we have Agave, which is like a dark blue teal. We have Wildflower, which just launched this year, which is this beautiful light lavender color. Scorched Orange is this deep kind of burnt orange. And then Cardamom is also a newer color That's like this soft sage green. So it's fun because you can play around with these colors and kind of express yourself. You can match back to your stand mixer. But what's also nice, and I don't know if you can notice on the visual, is if say you did a wildflower range, it also looks great if you had a scorched orange stand mixer. So to match everything, what we've done is like try to take the guesswork out of things for you, that our color palettes all work together and support each other. If you change handles to a brass handle, like you're not going to make a mistake. Everything works together here.
It's fantastic. They look so good, Brittni.
They do.
Okay. We're getting close to the end of our time. I have kind of a quick hit round of trends that we see that I'm curious if you can kind of comment on and things and give kind of your feedback on. The first one is one kitchen design trend that you hope disappears. I'll put you in an awkward place right off the bat, Brittni.
We like controversial takes too, so don't hold back.
I'm really over the kind of like industrial farmhouse vibe. I think just like, let's move on and let's get a little more creative, and I'm over it.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I think that's not an unpopular opinion at this point.
Especially if we're not living in an actual farmhouse.
It's like if you live on a farm, I get it, but
industrial farmhouse. I mean, it just doesn't make that. It's
in the suburbs of Omaha,
conflicting with itself. I love that take, and I think it's super smart. Okay, a finish that looks great in photos but is a nightmare for fingerprints. Maybe you experienced that as you were kind of pulling the collection together, or you see it elsewhere beyond KitchenAid.
Yeah, I would say like really glossy, high gloss finishes are just, they show the fingerprints. So we try to do things a little more satin. It's not super matte, but it's just enough that you don't see all the smudges and stuff. And
the high gloss, it's too shiny anyway. I mean, gosh,
the fingerprints drive me crazy.
Yeah, unless you live alone, good luck managing that.
Yeah. Even if I gotta like grab the kitchen towel to open the refrigerator,
put your oven mitt on. No touching. You don't eat in there.
It's too much.
That's not for eating. It's just for
put the gloss on something you're not touching a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. Brittni, is there a most underestimated color in either this palette or like generally in a palette that you love to see more of?
There's so many. It's funny because I feel like orange is definitely having a moment.
Yeah.
And last year, as we were saying, like, we want to put scorched orange on the commercial range, and people are like, "Are you sure? Like, that's
orange
right?
is a lot." Yeah.
Orange is so hot right now, and it's like, why not like celebrate it? But also the purple, lavender, like cool, I don't know, tones are also fun. So I'm all about embracing color and just not caring.
Yeah.
Perfect take. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Do you have like one care tip that keeps appliances looking new for years?
Get like a really nice microfiber cloth and get a good one,
Yeah.
And
invest in it.
Invest in your microfiber.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
That's like such a good point too, to just like stay on top of it versus like, the quick touch-ups when you've got food like cemented on 100%. It at that point. You're going to need more than your microfiber. So
100%.
Great tip.
Okay, Brittni, any final thoughts as we round out the episode?
I hope people feel inspired, and I hope they take a look at what this new KitchenAid line is. I will say we have some new designs we're working on behind the scenes, or maybe some new colors that could come in the next couple of years too. So stay tuned. Can't talk about it yet,
but
we can bring her back when it happens.
Okay. Yes, that's a good idea. We'll bring you back. Okay, Brittni, this was so fun. Thank you again for doing this and sharing kind of the story behind this design. Again, it looks fantastic. Big thanks to my co-hosts, Hilary and Becca, our producers, Ann and Scott, and to all of you listening. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcast and send us your questions at nfm.com/podcast. Until next time, here's to making your home life your best life, one story at a time.
Thanks for joining us today for I Am Home with Tyler Weisskopf, Hilary Woltemath, and Becca Sudbeck. No one knows home quite like NFM. So if you'd like more information on home design at NFM, please check out nfm.com and leave us a review on the podcast platform of your choice.